Okay, so today we're going to be taking a look at the first Operation Medic Bag blog post, as well as the Reddit AMA discussing the next couple of Payday 3 updates which may be making their way into the game as soon as this week. The first Operation Medic Bag blog post confirms a couple of things we can expect to see in the next update, starting with some platform-specific quality of life improvements including DX12 support and the implementation of Nvidia's scaler features on PC, which to my knowledge helps with performance and quality, though I'm not at all familiar with PC gaming, and so I'm assuming that the people in the know will be happy about that. I am not one of those people. On the console side of things, we'll be getting a handful of controller customization options, namely dead zone adjustments, which I'm very pleased about. In addition to those quality of life improvements, we're also finally getting an unready button. I don't want to gloss over the fact that this is something we should have had at launch, but at least it's finally coming. And for those of you out there who like a challenge, a unique weapon charm awaits anyone crazy enough to complete Cook-Off on Overkill difficulty, securing 19 perfectly cooked bags. It's completely down to you if you decide a charm is worth the effort. And to top it all off, the next update contains over 300 bug fixes, and from the way the blog post is worded, some new features too. It's not worth speculating for now, but we'll take a closer look at those once the patch notes are released. In the next blog post, Mio's going to be going into some more detail about the adaptive armor coming to the game. We spoke about that a couple of weeks ago, but in summary, it's an armor type that takes no permanent damage to either of its two chunks. If a chunk breaks, you'll need to replenish it, but even if there's a sliver of armor left, in time, it'll heal to full on its own. They touch on the AMA and the blog post, reiterating that Operation Medic Bag's improvements will start to make their way into the game at a more consistent cadence, starting from the April update. So not this update, but the one after. And in the time between now and then, they'll be strengthening their internal pipelines to allow them to meet their targeted deadlines. As we speculated when Operation Medic Bag was announced, while one free heist has been confirmed, Starbreeze are hoping to deliver more than that. They're just hesitant to overpromise, which I can understand. But that's all they really say about the AMA and the blog post, so let's take a look at the AMA itself. I've gone through and made a note of all the important points from the AMA. I don't think that it's necessary for me to regurgitate each and every response given, so I'll leave a link to the Reddit thread in the description, and if you're interested to read through them all, feel free to do so. But for now, let's talk about the highlights. Almir acknowledged that the best way to rebuild trust and favour with the community and get the player base growing again is to lead by proof and get updates and communication coming at a steady pace. They're aiming for 4 to 6 weeks between updates in the future, and the blog post that we just read through marks the first of weekly blog posts which stand as an attempt to keep the player base in the loop. But I guess we'll need to see how detailed the next blog post is to see if that's something the blog posts are going to be able to do. I'm personally a big fan of the streams that Starbreeze have been doing in the past, and I hope we see more of those in the future as well. Almir goes on to say that the 3 more paid DLCs are still coming in line with the Silver and Gold Edition commitments, and actually adds that Operation Medic Bag means that they'll be adding more free content than they originally planned for. As for collaborations, Almir has at this point all but confirmed that they're adding a certain Chicken Man, as well as other collaborations in the future. I just don't think that's even close to high on their priorities, to be completely honest. Although, and this wasn't said in the blog post, but we do know that internally Starbreeze know who the next heister is. As for Mio, he spoke a lot more about the actual game design itself, of course, mentioning Crime Spree as high on their list of priorities and that they're looking into pausing when offline. He also confirmed that they're increasing the number of skill points to 28, which is a surprising change in stance compared to what was said before launch, but I'm very much so there for it. And in some responses, Mio comments on the adaptive armor coming to the game, but in one, he refers to a hybrid armor that doesn't take permanent damage, currently scheduled for the patch after this one, so I'm unsure if that's a confirmation of a new armor type, or if he's just referring to the adaptive armor type. Personally, I think it's just the adaptive armor, but that's definitely something to keep an eye on. Weapon Prestige is also coming to the game at some point, allowing you to earn XP faster for each time a weapon is prestiged, and on the topic of weapons, numerical stats are making their way into the game at some point too. Mio also hints that Joker's Dodge and Inspire could also make a return, but it definitely won't be this year. And it turns out that in addition to the LMG, there are also plans of adding a new throwable, new gadget, and that Starbreeze are looking into new overkill weapons as well. But unfortunately, challenges, as they are in the game right now, will be removed entirely. I'm holding my tongue here as I'm currently working on a separate video about challenges right now, so we'll talk about that more in the future. To wrap up the AMA highlights, I want to acknowledge that Almir also left this comment on a post asking why updates are coming out so slowly, and I wanted to put up his exact response because his words are far better than any paraphrasing that I could do. As someone who works within the creative industries myself and have recently been on a project that meant I couldn't sleep longer than half an hour or so for over 7 days, I can definitely attest that these kind of things do happen, and I really do commend Starbreeze for not subjecting their teams to those kind of conditions. Considering the state Payday 3 was in, a lesser company probably wouldn't see their staff's well-being as such a high priority. At the end of the day, as much as we all want more updates and content, none of us want it at the expense of the people who make it. We can wait. But I don't actually think we'll be waiting that much longer. The AMA confirmed Starbreeze's intention to deliver an update this week, all being well of course. This update has been in the works since before Operation Medic Bag was announced, and so while it likely won't have too many of the promised fixes, I'm hoping that we can expect the clean slate skill and other things from the stream we saw at the start of January. And when that update does drop, I'll be sure to cover it here, and so if you enjoyed this video, I really appreciate if you'd consider subscribing. And so with that all said, thank you very much for watching. If you liked the video, drop a like on the video. If you disliked the video, drop a dislike on the video. Thank you very much for watching once again, and I will see you in the next video. I'm on the